Hi, welcome. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Today we are interviewing Dan Nichols from Dan Nichols and 18. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Max. I am great today. How are you?
Good. I'm doing good. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where do you live?
I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana. When I was 13, my dad moved us to Raleigh for his work. I went to high school in Raleigh, went to college at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, studied voice classically, was classically trained, sang opera professionally for a little hot minute, realized that wasn't my passion. Songwriting and song leading was my passion, and here we are.
What is your education? Like, where did you go to school? What did you get a degree?
I went to Enloe High School here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and it is an arts magnet high school. And back in the day when I went there, it allowed me to take a voice lesson every day, an hour voice lesson with Mr. Adams, as well as two different choirs I got a chance to sing. So I was singing as a freshman through senior year, 3 hours, 3 periods a day, essentially 3 hours a day. So that's a big reason that I'm a musician and a singer is because of that kind of training, that kind of specialization. And then I was fortunate to go to the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill and study voice there. And I got a degree called a Bachelor's of Music degree, which for me, is essentially a degree that says I can sing pretty.
And that's how you got your start in music?
That's how I got my start. Meanwhile, I was about 15 when I found guitar, and that's all I wanted to do. I played that first year, I played 5 hours a day, and I got a lot of C minuses in school as a result because I was studying something other than what my teachers were asking me to prepare. But looking back, I was following a passion, and I was putting time in, and my life now, as an adult, looking back on it, was because I was following and working passionately on something that I felt very passionate about, which was making music, creating music.
Other than guitar, what instruments do you play?
Oh, buddy, I love playing organ and piano and drums and bass and harmonica. I wouldn't call myself a drummer or a bass player or a piano player, but I love playing them.
What was your inspiration to be a Jewish songwriter?
I think it was actually lots of doubt. Um, Going to services on a Friday night at a temple, or working at a summer camp and being a song leader at camp and praying every evening. And I realized, man, I have a lot of questions. Why do we say this? I'm not sure I believe that. What's this whole God thing about? I'm not sure I believe in God. So what then? Why pray? And a lot of those questions led me to, well, maybe I can work out those feelings and those thoughts with my guitar. And essentially, my Jewish songwriting is kind of a dear diary to my own Jewish identity.
How did your group 18 start?
I was living in Nashville, Tennessee. I was mid-20s. I was trying to find a way as a songwriter, both as an artist and also maybe working professionally on a staff of songwriters in Nashville. And I wasn't having, how do I say this? I was actually having plenty of success. I was learning a ton. But there was a period of time where I realized I was not, I was struggling. I was grinding, um, which I think you hear, I've heard stories about all kinds of artists who got their starts. And at the beginning, they were grinding, they were struggling. It just doesn't happen. Rarely does it just happen. That's been my experience. But at any rate, I was in Nashville trying to work on my songwriting craft and realizing that, man, if I'm going to make a living at this, I've got to get a lot better because lots of people in Nashville play guitar and sing songs very, very well. There are a lot of great pickers, a lot of great players, a lot of great musicians in Nashville. And I learned, wow, if I'm going to make a living at this, I've got to get a lot better. I've got to work harder and smarter and work with better musicians that'll teach me. And through working with better musicians, I met a guy named Mason Cooper, who's a Jewish guy in Nashville at the time. And he and I started up a friendship and listening to music and just spending time together. And he suggested that we form and start a Jewish rock band. And at the time, I remember when he said it, I didn't get it. I was like, there's no reason to do that. And he said, I think there is a reason to do that. And so we started writing songs. And very quickly, I realized this is a wonderful way for me personally to express, as I was saying earlier, my Jewish identity and where my beliefs and struggles exist as a Jew. um, using song as a way to, as a format, as a place for those feelings to live.
Who is in your group 18?
Nowadays, the band is made up of myself and three other fine humans. Mark Nemec is our drummer, and he's co-producer and engineer with me on all our recordings. Mark lives in Nashville. I met Mark, our first gig together was December 27th, 1998. I love that I can remember that. He was filling in for Corey Knipp, who was on family vacation, couldn't make the gig. Mark filled in and just we hit it off. He's a great musician, an incredible drummer, and has become over the years. I mean, it's been a minute since 1998, and he's become a dear friend. So Mark plays drums in the band, sings too. Also plays keys on several songs. Nathan Meckel came into the band, I think around 2007, 2008, I think. Nathan first started playing bass with us, and then he shifted over to playing electric guitar, and he's been with us. He's also in Nashville, Tennessee, also a great friend. And our bass player lives in Indianapolis, Indiana. His name is Rick Twasson. And I met Rick because he was in the band with Nathan for years called The Upside of Envy. And then Rick left that band, moved up to Indianapolis, and I needed a bass player. Nathan recommended him. And since I think Rick's been with us since about 2011, 2012, possibly.
What is your favorite album you and 18 produced?
The one that I love the most right now is the one where I took the biggest creative swing on, like the most amount of risks. I just it's the latest album that we made called What Could Go Wrong, and it was 5 days in the Nashville studio in 2019. And I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. The guys live in either Indianapolis or Nashville, so we're not hanging out on a regular basis, and we don't gig that often. We just don't. The majority of my work, I'm out about 190 days a year and have been for over 20 years. But most of that work I'm doing solo. And I was missing the guys, and I said, can we just get together in a studio for 4 or 5 days and just be together and play music? And out of that came this 10-song album called What Could Go Wrong. And I didn't play acoustic guitar. I didn't song lead. I was playing electric guitar. Nathan was playing bass. Mark was playing drums. And we didn't have any songs. And in 4 days, we created these songs. And it was just, you know what the reason it felt so great was because it was something new for me and kind of got back to my roots. When I was in high school, I'd get together with my friends David Nung and David Brainerd here in Raleigh. They're still my buddies. We hung out a couple nights ago at a bar playing pool, and tomorrow we're probably going to play basketball in the driveway. These are my buddies from high school. We all learned to play instruments together. And, you know, when I was 15, 16, learning to play, you know, a bar chord, I was doing that with David and David here in Raleigh. And it just felt like we were just doing this together to be together and make a sound together. And that kind of mindset is a very special, kind of exciting, raw, vulnerable, and precious place, because what's going to happen? We're all discovering these things on the fly. And being with my band 18 in Nashville in 2019, there was a similar feeling, like, what's going to happen? We don't have any songs. What are we going to discover? And so that album, What Could Go Wrong, right now is my favorite because it was the most playful. It was the most free.
Can you sing one of the songs from the album?
Stand up, bootstrap kid, reminisce how sweet it is. Blow up all your speakers and live on 10. Come back, you blue jean baby. If it's no, how about maybe? It's cool either way. Yeah, yeah. Count it off, drop the needle. You're bigger than the Beatles, and I'm just fighting for your love. So I realized later when I wrote the song that I was actually, this whole song, the whole lyric is written to myself as, like, you ever been in a really down place, Max, where you're just super sad and other people around you know that you're sad and they love you and they're trying to pep you up and go, come on, man, it's going to be okay. You got this. You're going to be all right. You got this. Well, I realized later, once the song was over, I was writing lyrics and having fun. We were writing with them, with Mark and Nathan. We all created the lyric together. And as we were working together, forming it, I listened back to the song and realized, oh, this is a hype song for me to get over my own situational depression and sadness, which is cool.
Is that one of your favorite songs that you and 18 produced?
Yeah, it is. It is, because it kind of took us by surprise, it felt kind of magical.
What are your top 5 favorite songs you and 18 produced?
I would probably say that one's up there because it kind of took me by surprise, and it also really does speak truth. Like, that's kind of cool to write your own hype song. I like that idea. Like, Rabbi Ron Klotz teaches that, everybody should have an ace in the hole. Like when everything goes to crap, you've got one place you can go to be okay and to get through the day. And ultimately, we all should be our own ace in the hole. We should be our own best friend. And so that song's up there for me right now. Typically, also another thing too, Max, is the song that I'm working on right now is one that I'm often like most in love with, infatuated with, because it feels like a girlfriend like a new girlfriend that I have, and I want to know all about her, but it's brand new, and I've got these passionate feelings, and I don't yet know all about her. I don't know what her favorite color is. I don't know what her favorite candy is. I don't know, what her favorite Broadway show is, but I want to know. And the little time I've had to spend with her, it just feels great. That kind of thing. And so usually it's the song I'm working on right now. I'm kind of crazy about. And like there's this setting of Shalom Aleichem I'm working on. It's in 5/4. I don't have it together yet, but I want to have it together. And every time I play it, it's like the Mr. Rogers thing. Like I like the way it looks, and I like the way it makes me feel while I'm looking at it, kind of thing. I like the way it sounds, and I like the way it makes me feel when I'm hearing it. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It kind of goes on like that. I also like the tune, Oh, This Is Why I Sing. That's one of my favorites. I'm really proud of My Heart Is in the East. I feel like I had a real clear target in what I was trying to say musically and lyrically with that. And not always when you have a target, like anything, Max. Imagine if you're a cool gamer, you probably game and you probably build games and or working in that world. And not always when you try something do you get what you're hoping to get.
It takes time. I used to do gaming when I first started. I didn't know a whole lot about it, and I got better the more time I did it for. But then,
Amen.
and that's kind of the goal almost, like keep trying till you find something that sounds right and then just stick with it.
That's it. Amen.
Like I stopped gaming, and that was mainly because I may have looked at the world when I wasn't on the game, but when I was on the game, I had no clue of what was happening. So
An immersive experience.
I kind of felt good when I got off of it, 'cause then I could see what was happening more.
Okay. That makes sense.
What record label do you work for?
I'm an independent Jewish artist. I'm a little tiny fish in a very big sea of artists. And when I make a recording with 18, I get to, this expression, like many hats you wear. There's the song leader hat, the service leader hat, the Jewish educator hat, and then also the music producer, record executive hat. I am essentially my own record label.
What are some ways others can listen to your music?
We've got Apple Music. We've got the Spotify situation. Amazon Music is another one. All your basic streamage situations. YouTube, my music's there. And then also, my whole catalog is at my website. And there's a music store on my website.
When is the release date of your next either singles of a song or album?
I have no idea. I'm a songwriter. I write songs for a living. That was one I just gave to you for free. It's called
Nice.
I Have No Idea.
Nice.
Thanks.
Who would you like to sing with, living or dead, and why?
Wow. Singing with Dead People. The new album by Dan Nichols and 18. I hope you're recording this because Singing with Dead People sounds like a great album title.
It is recording.
Singing with Dead People. Singing with Dead People. The new album. I love it. Who would I love to sing with? Alive or dead? I'd love to sing with Harry Chapin. He's the reason his songs were the reason I wanted to play guitar. I wanted to learn Harry Chapin songs because they made me think and feel differently than any other songs. My dad loved them. I had a counselor named Kenny Chasen who played them in the cabin, and I just was enamored. So I would love to sing with Harry Chapin. He happens to be dead. No offense. Other dead people I'd love to sing with. I think it would be really radical to sing, with King David, to like go, hey, when you wrote this Psalm 150, did you have like a tune in mind? What's your jam? That'd be a trip. Live, people that are alive, I'd love to sing with Adele. I would. Also, I'd love to sing with my daughter. Yeah, I love singing with her. I love her voice, and I'd love to sing with her. So I would love to sing with Ava Nichols for Living Judaism. Please.
Favorite song that you've worked on with someone?
Currently on my mind is this piece that I'm calling a Sher B'Yado. I wrote it with Cantor Ellen Dreskin, and I got a chance to sing it live for the first time last weekend in Dallas at Temple Emmanuel. I was in Temple Emmanuel of Dallas last weekend, and I got to sing a Sher B'Yado, both Friday night services and Saturday morning services, for the first time in front of people, and it felt great.
Will you please sing it for us?
I am alive and full of wonder. I am held and released, filled and surrounded. I am becoming one holy soul in the soul of the Holy One. Can't catch my breath, and yet I'm breathing into the unknown, swept off my feet. Can't catch my breath, and yet I'm breathing into the unknown, swept off my Baruch atah Adonai Asher b'yado nefesh kol chai. Baruch atah Adonai Asher b'yado nefesh kol chai. V'ruach kol b'sar ish
That was a great song. What is your process for making music?
My process. I would say that if I could go back in time and somehow be my own parent, I would send myself to a Waldorf school where the philosophy of Waldorf school, as I understand it, is rhythm, ritual, reverence. That's how we that's our that's how we learn. That's how we create our day. So my rhythm in the morning, I love getting up in the morning before I'm even verbal and just start playing guitar with no goal other than to make a sound. Let my fingers start to open, my hands start to open, listening to the sound of a guitar, listening to the sound of a chord fade, like to take that kind of time to listen is part of my rhythm, and that leads me off into ritual when and the connection between my Jewish identity and ritual are very, very close. And that often will lead me to thinking about prayer, and then we'll start to activate my curiosity. And I'm not running. I'm walking to the library to get a prayer book and flip through it and look through the morning service often and take a look at the liturgy, the prayers in the service. I've never really looked at this one before. What's the translation of this? Wow, that's beautiful. Or wow, I don't understand it. Or wow, I don't know if I believe that line there. And then that will inevitably lead to more noodling, which for me, noodling is experimentation. It's play. So as I'm talking about thinking about myself as my own parent, as I get older, I would want to send myself to a Montessori school where my work is my play and my play is my work. It's not about grades, it's about curiosity. It's about engaging with the idea in all sorts of ways. And so that's my process. Looking at the prayer book, doing the work of prayer in leading, asking questions of myself. What does that mean? Giving myself permission to challenge those ideas, and then spend time playing guitar like I used to play with Lego.
What is it like to travel to different places?
If I like to boil it down to how lucky am I? How freaking lucky am I that this is my job? So to go around and travel to sing with people, it's an incredible. It's a high. I'm super grateful for it, and I hope I behave in a way that shows my gratitude. And then sometimes what it's like is hard. That's how it's like. Um, Ultimately, I'm happy to grind that way because really, you boil it down, I'm playing guitar and singing songs for a job. And that's amazing.
Favorite place to perform at?
Favorite place to perform? Well, probably Gucci, Goldman Union Camp Institute in Zionsville, Indiana. It's the camp where I learned to be Jewish. It's the camp where I learned song leading. It's the camp where I learned to be a counselor and ultimately become the parent that I want to be. I had my bar mitzvah there. I met my best friends in the world there. So I learned how to do this work, this song leading work there. And I love going there and sing with everybody. I also get, more than any other place, I get to go and be Danny. Just really me. And that's beautiful.
Favorite type of audience?
I love singing with humans. Human audiences are great. I love singing with nifty teenagers. That's really fun. It's liberating. It's a real adrenaline rush. It's been because of COVID, the relationship with me and with nifty North American Federation of Temple youth group, teenage youth group around the country, has changed significantly. It's been reduced significantly. And I'm sad about that. I loved singing with Nifty. It was a real treat.
Do you write for a certain type of audience?
I have. It's funny. It's a good, cool question because I used to. Then COVID, being on my own, living on my own, having lots of me time. I'm not going anywhere. I wasn't going anywhere for 109 days a year. I was just home. And I kept writing, and I noticed that my writing was different. I was not writing for whether or not I thought you would sing it, you whoever you are, but rather, do I want to sing this again? And that's a different thing entirely. And I think that's a great thing.
Will you end our time today with a few songs of yours?
I will. This is one. This is one that I wrote, Max, at Temple Shir Shalom, your synagogue, with Rabbi Michael Moskowitz, one of your rabbis, the senior rabbi at Temple Shir Shalom. We were studying with 7th and 8th graders this idea of what it means to be somehow like God, in God's image, created in God's image, but B'Tselem Elohim. And in studying with 7th and 8th graders, I was looking through the questions we were asking them. Questions like, if God can create anything that God wants, why do you think God created human beings, B'Tselem Elohim? Why human beings? Why not the trees? Why not water? Why not certain other animals? Why not light? Why not dark? Why do you think humans were given this distinction? And we studied all sorts of other rabbis like Rashi and Maimonides and their commentaries on that question. But it was in asking that question of the 7th and 8th graders, it was like, they're as I'm listening to these answers, I'm like, there's a song in here. And sat down at Michael and Leslie's kitchen table on Cold Spring Lane back in the day, probably 99, and wrote the song. And it's called B'Tselem Elohim. We all got a life to live. We all got a gift to give. Just open your heart and let it out. We all got a piece to bring. We all got a song to sing. Just open your heart and let it out. Yeah, when I reach out to you and you to me, we become B'Tselem Elohim. When we share our hopes and our dreams, each one of us B'Tselem Elohim. We all got a tale to tell. We all want to speak it well. Just open your heart and let it out. We all got a mountain to climb. We all got a truth to find. Just open your heart and let it out. Yeah, when I reach out to you and you to me, we become B'Tselem Elohim. When we share our hopes and our dreams, each one of us B'Tselem Elohim. Bereshit bara Elohim. Bereshit bara Elohim. Bereshit bara Elohim. All our hopes, all our dreams. Bereshit bara Elohim. Each one of us B'Tselem Elohim. Bereshit bara Elohim. All our hopes, all our dreams. Bereshit bara Elohim. Each one of us B'Tselem Elohim. Yeah, yeah, when I reach out to you and you to me, we become B'Tselem Elohim. When we share our hopes and our dreams, each one of us B'Tselem Elohim. Each one of us B'Tselem Elohim. Each one of us B'Tselem Elohim.
That sounded beautiful.
I feel great about this song. Wrote it for Goldman Union Camp's 40th birthday back in 1998 with Dr. Lee Friedman. Back when I was 10 or 11, Lee was a college student who was a song leader at Gucci. And he was my song leader when I was a kiddo. And I loved his song leading. I loved his joy. And I didn't have a word for it back then, but I have words for it now as an adult, looking back on my kid self watching him. He was the first person in this work that showed, demonstrated with his face, with his body, with all of his energy, how much joy, how much fun he was having leading, being given the honor to lead the camp in song session or in services. And that takes a certain degree of courage, of strength, to be able to be that willing to share that part of yourself, to smile in a open, free way in front of the whole room, authentically. Anyway, he was the first person that demonstrated that, embodied that. And when I'm at my best, I'm in this work, I'm thinking about that and trying to do that. This phrase, the Hebrew phrase, chazak, chazak v'nit chazek, means be strong, let us be strengthened. And traditionally, Jews say this phrase when they finish a book of Torah and move from one book of Torah to the next. They say these words. And we chose it because it's a similar moment. We're moving from one year to the next, from one decade to the next. We've had 40 years of singing at camp. We're doing it again this summer, and we're committed to keep doing it. Max, thanks for letting me sing here today.
You're welcome.
This is dedicated to you, Max. I hope that as you continue doing your work and finding who you want to be in this world, that as you do that, you're reminding of yourself that you have that strength inside of yourself to live a life of integrity, of passion, of joy, of meaning.
Thank you.
We have come from near and far to raise our voice in song. And the more we join in the refrain, the more we feel strong. Chazak, chazak, v'ni chazek. There is a power in this place and time. It shapes the rest of our lives. For when we return each year, we find a truth we can't deny. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Be strong and let us celebrate our lives. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. As we sing, we link ourselves to those who came before. And we're one with all those yet to come. Our strength, it will endure. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Be strong and let us celebrate our lives. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Chazak, chazak. Be strong, let us strengthen one another. Be strong, let us celebrate our lives. Be strong, let us strengthen one another. Chazak, chazak. Be strong, be strong. Chazak, חזק חזק ונתחזק.
That was beautiful. Thank you for joining. I enjoyed it.
Thanks, Max.
You're welcome. Have a great rest of your evening.
Shabbat shalom, Max.
I will. Shabbat shalom.
Bye.
Goodbye.